start, like,
All right.
now? Okay. Good evening, Internet.
Good evening.
And all the... I think we had like 60 people who watched the first episode as of recording this now. Pretty good numbers. I'm proud of them. Thanks for watching, guys. Thanks for commenting. Thanks for subscribing. Thanks for clicking. Thanks for typing. Thanks for having a computer. I think that covers it. Yeah. I'm joined again by my friend Mouse. And we are here today to talk about a word that has grown in popularity significantly. Yes, you know the word. We all know the word. We've seen it many times. The bird. You know what's really funny? The word is actually based on the bird. Did you know that?
Well, why don't you tell us what the word is?
Okay,
so
first
I
of
can
all,
know.
the word is CUCK. And first of all, I just want to say, yeah.
Yes, I do know the etymology of that word.
Really? You knew that it was based off of the cuckoo bird,
Yeah,
which is
it
known...
puts its eggs in other birds' nests.
Right! Good job. Well done. I don't really know how that ties back in, but, like, I guess because it's... Oh, no, that's right. I looked it up. Okay, so it's because the male birds will end up raising other male birds. And that's why it's an insult now, because it's kind of a challenge to... Yeah, it's a challenge to masculinity. The word, though, has, like, really spiked with this election season.
Well, you know what the colloquial definition of the word is.
Yeah! I mean, we could talk about that, too. Well, one thing I wanted to talk about was... I had seen this word before.
Because I feel like the colloquial definition has more to do with what you're talking about than bird activity.
Bird activity. It's true. Men do not often raise the eggs of other birds. This is true. It's generally... Well, here's the thing. I want to hear what you have to say.
Unless you're an ornithologist.
Yes, unless you're...
In which case, bully for you.
But like, the word is... I feel like people are using it in a way... I think it's one of those words that people are using it in a lot of different ways, but they all kind of generally mean the same thing. But I've seen it used as, like, a racial thing. I've seen it used... Yeah, like, we can get into that. But, like, personally speaking, and this is a little embarrassing, first time I saw the word was, like, as a category on a porn site. And that was, like, the only framework I had of the word. What was the first time you saw it? Did you actually hear it in, like, the Victorian sense as, like, a man who has been cheated on? Because apparently that's, like, the actual definition, I think. I don't know.
Well, I mean, that's what it's referring to in the category of porn also.
Yeah, but, like, in porn, here's the thing. I always found it to be, like, a strange insult because in that porn, the guys are clearly totally okay with being cucks. And, like, it's actually cuckolding, but... Right. It's been reduced to cuck because that sounds like a lot of other... It sounds like cock and fuck and, like, all these other words. Like, it's actually, it's actually a pretty effective insult, I feel like, because even if you had no idea what it meant, you could be like, whoa, what's...
It's a very cacophonous word.
Yeah, it's like, cuck.
Sharp.
It's like, whoa, what is that? I don't know. I think it's effective, at least on those merits, at the very least. You disagree, though? You don't think it's a very effective, like, swear, dirty, wordy...
Really, but I'm also not the one to get offended by words very easily, so
yeah,
that could be part of it.
I think, like, it's interesting just because it's so sharply risen, and if you've ever, like...
Well, I think that was largely responsible to the Donald and all of his
and, like,
shenanigans.
The thing is, like, I was...
Like, they just picked a word to kind of, like, form around.
The thing is, I don't think it was... Like,
something about centipedes? I don't know.
The Donald, and I talked about the Donald on this channel before, and they're their own thing, but I actually ran into it a lot before the Donald.
That's the context that I had seen it really risen into like, just regular conversation.
See, I saw it first on 4chan. I saw it, like, predominantly during the whole Gamergate thing, and it was used quite a bit, but I think it's because, like, the thing I was always confused by was I thought it was like a fetish thing. Like, I thought a cuckold was a person who enjoyed
kind of colloquially, like, if you're talking about the porn sense, then yeah, I feel like that's probably correct.
So that's why I thought it was interesting, because like an actual cuckold would totally be like, yeah, I'm cuck. Like, yeah, I'm not like, I obviously enjoy being a cuck, and like that's something I found interesting. Like, you won't actually see any cuckolds being
using
offended.
it as an insult kind of confused me for a bit.
Yeah, exactly.
I felt the same way. Like, it was a thing that you just did if you were into that. Sure.
Yeah, it's like, okay, I'm not personally into that, but and they're like, no, you're a cuck. It's like, no, I'm pretty sure I know. And like, it's definitely one person I saw said like the person using it is obviously a person who has insecurity themselves a little bit, or that could be the case, where it's coming from a place of like, you should be ashamed, like this is a terrible thing that you're doing, and like only those people would think of it as an insult. But it's, I don't know, it's risen dramatically so fast. And I was actually doing some research, and people were talking about how other insults like come from words that aren't like some other. Let me see if I can find it real quick. There were like a lot of words that came out that weren't even meant to be.
Sure, that happens all the
curse
time.
words, yeah, and like it's interesting. Like Aziz Ansari does like a little bit where he's talking about like anything could be considered like a racist term if you say it like spitefully enough, like. Shut up, you Oreo, or like shut up, you like Kit Kat. I think he's Kit Kat. So it's like, I don't know, but again, I think the sound of it.
Well, I feel like if you look back far enough, all curse words had, you know,
like nicer meanings, and then eventually
different definitions. You know, like the obvious ones that people go to are like gay and faggot and stuff like that, that all had completely separate meanings originally, and now are taken as spiteful words because they've been used that way long enough.
Well, see, we can use that as a transition, because I actually have a theory as to why this word has become so very popular so very quickly. I think it's actually replaced another word that was used to insult masculinity, and ironically, I think the reason this word has become more popular is because it's more politically correct. I think cuck is the new fag. I think faggot has fallen out of popularity, either because of like the homosexual lifestyle becoming more accepted as a whole, or possibly just because it doesn't have that oomph that it once did for people. Like it doesn't
lost its edge, I guess, if you wanted
to
talk about it that way. But I also don't think that this word has really replaced anything. I feel like it kind of came into usage with a specific group of people, and I literally haven't heard it since or outside of that group of people. So
okay, speaking of someone who spends a lot of time on 4chan, I honestly, fag used to be like buddy. Like it was just used so casually on that subreddit that it almost basically stopped being an insult.
On the subreddit?
Or, I'm sorry. Oh, God. Oh, no. I've crossed the wires. That's not good. Or I've crossed the beams. People are going to call me on that. But
you didn't even get that reference right. That's fine.
I didn't.
You're crashing.
Just cut all of it. Cut all of it. No, but like, so fag was used everywhere on 4chan.
New fags,
to the point
old
where
fags.
New fags, old fags, to the point where it wasn't even an insult anymore.
Sure.
It was just like jerk. Like it had just as much impact as that word. Like you weren't even sure someone was insulting you if you were calling
I've used that word in real life to that extent.
Right.
Like I have friends that, what are you doing, you fag?
I don't know if I could do that. But for me, it's more like websites are like a different like city or country where like, oh, this gesture in America means hi friend, but over here it means it's the greatest insult ever.
And see, another element to that is it could be that word has been just overused to the extent that it lost its original connotation.
Yeah.
Like,
and I think that's
you
what's happened.
You were talking about other comedian and their bits, and I know Louis C.K. did a bit on faggot, and it's like, you can be gay and not be a faggot. Being a faggot, you're just
that one.
Being a faggot, like, knock it off.
Well,
it's not
one of the first places
anymore.
I saw cuck, it's funny you bring that up, was actually like people calling Louis C.K. a cuck on 4chan. And like, I don't know why. I guess it's just because a lot of his like comedy is really like self-demeaning and stuff like that, and like he's typically kind of a he's definitely a liberal-leaning guy, so I could see him pissing off something like more conservative people. But like I feel like cuck
but like no
originated
definition of that word could apply to his situation.
No, not at all. like it's just one of those times where it's like, oh, I bet he does this because he's not a man, and but like, see, for me, you have association with the Donald. I saw it popping up on 4chan and like video game forums.
Yeah, let's be real. Who is the Donald really?
A good chunk of it. I mean, like, I feel like a lot of 4chan is like people who want to talk a certain way, but have just been like, oh, you can't say that like that. So then they just go to 4chan and talk however they want to talk. But on 4chan, like, how do you insult someone's masculinity? You can't say fag. That's just like, good morning, neighbor, on 4chan. So I think that's why they started using CUCK. It was like, I gotta up the ante. I gotta really insult this guy. So I'm gonna use this word. Arbitrarily without like any context or any necessary needs, and then people go, oh, it's like you can't, like, it's almost like the connotation to it now has like, you can't satisfy your woman, so you have to rely on another man to do so. And like, I guess that's how they're using it now, but it's almost on its way to being fag in terms of like almost being overused, or like it has its own definition that doesn't even mean what it used to mean. But
so everybody,
I don't know.
Weigh in on what you think the next bad word is going to be.
Yeah, we could invent it here and now.
Parabola.
Like, parabola. It's a little, I don't know. Parabola.
Yeah, it rolls off
you
the tongue really
fucking
nicely.
parabola. You parab. Oh, that's a little. There's that racial connotation to it.
That's perfect.
Ooh, it's working. All right. Well, there was one other thing I want to talk to you about and this kind of ties back into the Louis C.K. bit and what we said about fag before. Fag means something differently to me than it probably does to a person who's gay or a person who is like beat up while being called a faggot.
Sure.
And I've been like called out on it, saying like it's never okay to say because there have been so many people who've been impacted negatively by the word. It should just not be spoken anymore. But personally, I feel like, I feel like the only way to like in the same way CUCK is being changed into this dirty, horrible, emasculine, insulting word. I feel like it can go the other way. If like 4chan in my eyes has like almost corrected the word fag to being back to something that was just like, not necessarily negative, but like just kind of like, you descriptive word. It's not even descriptive because it doesn't mean anything.
That's the difference, and that's kind of an aspect of my stance on it. I don't feel like there are any words that really should not be said or avoided because of whatever their connotation is to certain people. You know, even more powerful words that we will even say here, you all know what we're talking about. To not say them or to deny them would be to like act like they didn't exist. And if they were that big a part of defining a society, then ignoring them is not a good thing. But, you know, any word can mean anything to any group of people, and it's just a matter of, if I say this word a lot and somebody disagrees with it, I'll just take care not to say that word around them. You know, it's whatever. Yeah. Words are just words. They mean different things.
Should we take CUCK back? Can we take it back? Like, how could you?
I don't care.
Get it away from me.
I don't use that word. I've never needed to use that word.
I feel like if you take it in a humorous way, because like it's been made into a dirty word, and like people are saying like, and like here's one thing, like a lot of like liberal, kind of more liberal articles are saying like, oh, a lot of the connotation to like the cuckold fetish is with a black guy taking a white guy's woman, and because of that, anyone who uses the term cuckold is also a racist. And to be fair, I have seen people using it in that way on 4chan.
Kind of like a weird interracial situation,
right? And or like fetishizing black people, or like being like maybe that's where the insulting part comes in for like racist. There's like but like I don't know. I feel like one way to take the word back or to remove the
what insults them.
What's that?
I said if they're racist people, who cares?
Yeah, but like I don't know. I feel like if people stop vilifying the word, and like people are like I read one article by GQ that's like why angry white men love calling people cuck, the problematic history of the alt-right's favorite new insult. Calling it problematic is just like adding fuel to the fire. Like that's just basically saying like don't say it. No, it's like it didn't mean anything bad.
The word only has the connotation that we give it.
Yeah, so
And
that's what I
so
feel like.
by calling it a bad word or making people not say it, that only gives credence to its badness.
And making people edgy and like, I say, cuck. And I feel like a lot of them are just like 12-year-olds who are like, it's not technically a curse word yet, I can say it. And like, that's where like a lot of the popularity comes in. That's what I was saying. Like, I think it's ironic. Well, I think it's ironic because like I feel like people started using cuck because it's the politically correct term for like nobody will like, they won't get in trouble in class for saying it or something like that.
I feel like it's just kind of a word that took off in
And that's it.
some weird zeitgeist, and it'll be not long until it leaves.
You think? I hope.
Because like I already don't see it anywhere anymore.
Really? It's already been, yeah, that's true. That is true. It's kind of, though I'm going to post a little Google Trends thing where it has only risen in popularity and
Throw
it's
it
grown
up on the screen
stronger.
behind us.
Maybe I will. Maybe I won't. We'll see.
You will.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks for talking to me
Till
today,
next
Mouse.
time.
All right. Bye, Internet.
Adios.
That was pretty good. I like that.